All right, we're back. I had to come right back, you guys. It's been a long time, I shouldn't have left you. I left you guys for way too long. So today you get a surprise twofer, right? Two videos for the price of one, right? Okay, so thank you for being here with me. We're going to jump back into chapter 9, is it? Chapter 8. We're going to go over the day numbers. All right. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Before we jump into this chapter 8 dealing with the day numbers, I need you guys to make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any other upcoming episodes of the book club. Um, and yeah, that'd be great. I appreciate you guys. Here we are. We're on the day numbers. Halfway, just about halfway through the book. We're on page 95. So, and there's 205 pages, give or take, right? It might be a glossary at the end that we don't need to read. So, just about halfway through. We often witness attempts in nature and society to achieve balance. Winds are created to balance atmospheric air pressures. Night and day permit us to balance our energy levels, activity during the day, rest at night. And in the financial arena, economic inflation has to give way to recession. Okay, so we know human personality seeks balance in the grand scheme of things. We know that our primary pathway in life is revealed by our ruling number. Our primary pathway in life, our ruling number, life path number, that's what I call it. But ruling number is more accurate. But we must also realize that we're not intended to singularly or fanatically pursue this pathway without both a measure of relief and diversion that permits the development of a lesser aspect of our individuality. Okay? Without a measure of relief and diversion that permits the development of a lesser aspect of our individuality. That's what I'm saying. Before I was saying, hey, they say we're born into a life of sin. Well, on the calculator, sin is talking about a singular, it's a trigonometry function to mathematically figure out a single frequency. I'd pull it up, but you can look up the sin word on your calculator, and it's short for sine wave, and it's specifying the mathematical function to finding a singular frequency. This is your ruling number. This is your main frequency, right? We're made up of a lot of frequencies though, but we do have a ruling frequency. And so when they say we're born into sin or into a sine wave, this is what we're talking about, right? This is what I feel. You guys agree with that? Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know what you think. But anyway, we have a ruling number, which is one single frequency, and then you have all these other frequencies, and I guess you want to kind of harmonize all these frequencies, which is balance, right? Wholeness and balance. So you want harmony and you want to balance it out. So he's saying, we know our primary pathway in life is revealed by our ruling number, but we must also realize that we're not intended to singularly or fanatically pursue this ruling number pathway without both a measure of relief and diversion that permits the development of a lesser aspect, the other frequencies of our individuality, right? Because when you're talking about astrology, we know we have a sun sign, but we have the moon, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and so on and so forth. So it's not one frequency. In numerology, you get to talking about one main frequency. That's your sine wave. That's your sin. You're born into this sin or this sine wave, right? But you have all these other vibrations that uniquely mix together to create you, right? And you're unique from anybody else. There's nobody else on the earth with the type of frequencies that you have that make up your makeup. It's all unique. Limitless possibilities, right? The animals too, the plants, the flowers, the crystals, the same thing, right? So there's nobody like you, there's nobody like me. Not only do we have one singular wave, a ruling number, but we also have these other energies, right? So because your ruling number, like we said, was made when you added the dates of your birthday up, and then you added each single digit of those numbers, and what you're doing is you're reducing your birth date down to a single digit. That's how you get your ruling number, reducing the dates, the numbers of your birth date down to a single digit. Right. But you have all these numbers to make up your birth date. So you're emitting all those, you're dealing with all those different frequencies as well, right? So my birthday is June 19, 1980. When I add it all up and reduce it down to a single digit, it's number 7. So I'm a life path of ruling number 7. That's my main sine wave, my main sin, my main frequency or vibration that I was born into, right? But we all know I'm more than that. I'm a Gemini sun, a Virgo moon, a Leo rising. I got a lot of Virgo. Mars in Virgo, Saturn in Virgo, Jupiter's in Virgo. Like a stellium, right? A stellium of Virgo. And we know I'm not just a life number 7. That's true. You know what I mean? Numerology. I just said my birthday is June 19, 1980. So I'm dealing with 6 frequency, a double 6. I'm dealing with a double 9 frequency. I'm dealing with the frequency of 1, right? So you have a lot of other frequencies, but you have that main one, which I'm calling sin. So be free with this information. So, what about those other aspects of your individuality? Well, such is the purpose of our day number, the number of the actual day of the month on which we were born. Okay? The actual day of the month of which we were born. Just as it's important for us to develop the understanding of our eternal being, the inner self, so is it necessary for us to understand the manner by which we express to the world through the outer self. We do this through our day number and our name. That's going to be found in chapter 12. With most birth dates, the day number is different from the ruling number. Yet, for some people, it is the same number. In these instances, the apparent need to strengthen your ruling number clearly outweighs the need to divert from it. Get it? Circumstances derived from the previous 1 or 2 lifetimes. All right. So now you got to strengthen your ruling number. If you find this explanation incredible, do not dismiss it until you've had the opportunity to investigate it for yourself. Most Westerners have not recognized the significance of karmically created traits in their current personality. Karmically created traits. Yeah. To prepare it for proper analysis, each day number is treated in the same basic manner as is the ruling number. Each double number of a day on which a person is born is resolved to a single number by simple addition, with the same exceptions as the ruling number. However, there is one additional exception for a day number, and it occurs when a person is born on the first day of the month. We don't have a ruling number 1, but we certainly have a day number 1. To avoid any misunderstandings, all day numbers are listed. Because each number has the same basic properties, a day number will have similar aspects to its identical ruling number, except that the ruling number is naturally the stronger, hence the word ruling, right? It's important to realize that the day number is intended to represent our alternate other self. Thus, when people choose to align themselves more with its power than that of their ruling number, their lives will ultimately fall apart. Okay? So, seems to be a little polarity here with the ruling number being on the higher end of like you would think like a north node type thing. This is the direction you're going to go, whereas the day number is kind of like a south node type situation where you came from, and you don't need to, that's a like a lower vibrational state for you versus going this way following your ruling number is more like going into the more high vibrational state of your makeup. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what it sounded like to me, like a polarity of this and that, a high and a low type frequency or manifestation of that frequency. Okay, day number 1. People born on the first day of the month always do their best when allowed to work on their own. They need ample freedom to fully develop and express their unique initiative. The direction in which to channel this expression is indicated by their ruling number, though they're sometimes tempted to depart from its direction if they want to do things their way. Okay. This is going to be me because I'm born on the 19th, and when I add it together, that's a 9 and a 1, that's a 10, and there's no 0. So I'm a day number 1. Okay. I'm going to start again. People born on the first day of the month always do their best when allowed to work on their own. They need ample freedom to fully develop and express their unique initiative. The direction in which to channel this expression is indicated by their ruling number, though they're sometimes tempted to depart from its direction if they want to do things their way. Okay, my ruling number is 7. So, okay. Because of their preference for individual effort, these people can appear aloof or detached for certain periods. This is especially noticeable in children born on the first day of the month. It should cause no alarm, for it's merely their other self enjoying its seclusion. I mean, I think I'd be considered a day number 1. It was saying earlier about adding it together, the number together, and this, that, and the third, but it did specify the first day of the month too and singled it out. So, and obviously, I don't know what's here. Is this a typo? I don't know. But anyway, I'll just keep reading. Um, I wanted to light some incense. I'm drinking tea. I'm drinking dandelion root and lemon balm, right, for my nervous system. I just told you my placements, astrologically speaking. I got a lot of Gemini and a lot of Virgo. So I got a high nervous system. And so I'm doing everything I can to heal it and help it out, you know? So this mug, this Witch's Brew mug, it's at cedargroveherbs.com. You can enjoy a 15% discount at cedargroveherbs.com as well if you just type in the code Pure Love, all caps, no space, PURELOVE, right? Pure Love. You get a 15% discount. So um, I don't know if we have any more Moldavite rings, but definitely the Stone of Transformation, right? I've been having a great time since I got my Moldavite ring a few weeks ago. So let's see. So what about the day number 2? This brings with it added intuitiveness, which is a valuable benefit in decision making. It also stimulates the desire to work closely with someone who has a bright, happy disposition. These people enjoy light entertainment, especially if humorous, preferring to be entertained than to do the entertaining. They are reliable, supportive people who are generally happy and lighthearted, preferring the natural to the artificial. Mm-hmm. Nice. Day number 3, opposite of the previous day number, these people are the fun-loving entertainers, right? Day number 2s like to be entertained. Day number 3s like to be the entertainers. Most of them only want to be involved in projects on a part-time basis, for they often have more vital things to pursue in line with their life purpose, as indicated by their ruling number. Right, that would be their life purpose. Um, so they like to do all that on a part-time basis. They have other things to do. They see it. These are people who thoroughly enjoy all forms of humor, especially satirical humor. They're generally bright extroverts, right? With a very active brain and a ready answer. But they do have an underlying tendency to be critical of more somber people without attempting to understand the nature of these different personalities. Care should be taken to resist the destructive urge to criticize. Instead, subtle humor can be used to get a point across if they believe the other person needs help. Sometimes it is they who need the help. Mm, right? Day number 4, people, a practical and capable flair helps these people to express themselves well with their hands or feet. If their ruling number is an odd number, this day number will assist them in creating balance with the adoption of a predominantly artistic or philosophical approach to life. Should their ruling number be an even number, they need to take care to avoid any undue emphasis on materialism and learn that they'll achieve the best results from their actions when they employ the patient ability to organize, which is second nature to the day number 4, right? So when they employ the patient ability to organize, you know what I'm saying? That's when they'll achieve the best results from their actions. Okay, day number 5, people, right? Because of course, remember number 4. Let's see. Let's look at the grid when it comes to 4, so you can see why organization would be very, very important. Okay, it's on the physical plane. You're dealing with the practicality of things, the doing of things, right? The basic self. Um, just as far as physical, you know, I just also know they have the saying, cleanliness is next to godliness. To be clean is to be organized. So if you're moving up into a higher vibration, the more high of a vibration you're going to move to, you're going to clean it up a little bit more. You're going to be a little bit more organized, right? You need to be able to reach out and you need to know where everything's at. You need to be able to easily access it. You need to be able to reach right out to it and get it with very easily. And that requires organization, right? So you can see why actually patiently learning, or learning this act of organization could help achieve better results. This patient ability to organize. Okay, let's see. So when it comes to day number 5, people, these are caring, compassionate people. Remember, we said that 5 is in the middle of the grid. So in the middle of the grid. So you're dealing with love, but also sensitivity, because that comes with it. Feelings, deep feelings. We saw it was on the physical, on the higher self line above the first line. And so we see why 5 would be dealing with sensitivity, spirituality, and love for sure. These are caring, compassionate people for whom it's essential to have the freedom to express their deep feelings. They are sensitive and yet possess a balance that underlies their ability to achieve success and happiness, provided they don't develop a fear of being misunderstood, right? This could produce a shyness that inhibits their true self expression, causing an inward intensity due to suppressed natural expression. They need to engage in plenty of outdoor exercise and activity, and to select bright company with whom they can freely share laughter and the joy of living. Sound advice, right? You need to be able to be in a space where you're free to express your feelings, deep as they may be. You need to be, so you got to choose people to be around that. Otherwise, you'll just get sad and bitter and stop expressing yourself. And you should be able to enjoy your life as well, right? The joy of living. Um, so yeah, for sure. You guys can always meet me in the Openly Occultic Book Club chat room, right? The book club chat room is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there we can discuss things like numerology and the joy of living, right? We're happy to be able to understand this information, to have it here at our disposal. You can get a free PDF copy of this book. If you meet me there in the chat room, I'll give you a free copy. Just ask for it. And we can enjoy, we can laugh, and share the joy of living there in the chat room as well. You're amongst like-minded people, people who understand this deep, critical information, right? We have a different sense of humor. Maybe we got other kind of jokes, and we want people that we can share those jokes with, who can laugh. So, and we're just happy to be around people that can understand these things, and we don't feel so isolated, right? So yeah, definitely meet me in the chat room. Day number 6, people. Though this is a number of creativity, where's the number 6? There on the conscious self, creativity, the divine feminine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a number of creativity. For most people, such expression seems to be restricted to the domestic sphere. This is especially so in the case of women, though men also tend to prefer to stay at home doing little things of a creative nature rather than to be out with their mates. Its positive expression is of love and beauty, qualities that make the day number 6 a person to brighten up the home or the workplace. When living negatively, these people take on the worry syndrome, over dramatizing domestic problems and developing all sorts of fears and anxieties with a dreary, almost never ending habit of complaining. Their pancreas is readily found, their panacea, their panacea is readily found by replacing the worry habit with creativity. For example, by engaging in some form of productive hobby, such as painting, pottery, music, and so on. Right? Day number 7, people. No number provides a more active understanding of life's lessons than the 7. Its special purpose is to induce personal involvement where the person learns the lessons of life in the most indelible way through personal sacrifice. This will usually affect the pocket more than health or love, though the latter two will be involved if the lessons are not readily recognized. As these people mature in wisdom, they'll feel drawn to share their life's experiences in a practical way through teaching. In this way, the profound lessons of this number can be successfully instilled upon the soul. Yes. And let me know in the comments, which day number are you? What's your day number? Let's talk about it. Does it resonate with you? Does it sound about right? Day number 8. Humans tend to work and act as part of a group, so accustomed are they to being organized and directed. But this ultimately becomes the antithesis to the development of personal independence, the primary purpose of this day number. As these people grow in personal awareness, they'll recognize an emerging need for the independent expression of their feelings, emotions, and intuition. This essential independence is the basis upon which all other forms of personal expression will. However, some people will tend to misconstrue financial independence as the basis and to go resolutely for this, rather than recognize it as the development of the successful acquisition of independence of the self. Unless financial success is based on a mature understanding of their personal life, such prosperity will be somewhat temporary. Okay? So, it's not all about being, financial independence isn't the basis, but it's more of it's not the basis of independence, but it's kind of like, I don't know. It just helps you. It's always, sometimes when you just change your perception, or you kind of put a comma in a different place in the sentence, it changes the whole meaning of what's being said. So, just throwing that out there. A change of perception is absolutely necessary for a lot of us, particularly growing up here in America. You know what I mean? Because, like you were saying earlier, the Western thinking has kind of blocked out a lot of spirit, spirituality, vibration. We use the word spirituality in terms of things like the things we can't see. If we can't see it, we call it spirituality. But we can't see radio waves or microwaves, but we don't call that spirit tech. You know what I mean? But we're talking about, spiritual things. And Western has kind of left out the spiritual things, the unseen things in so many ways, right? Because there's more than radio waves that we can't see. There's more than Wi-Fi signals that we can't see in the air, but it's all around us, right? Okay, day number 9. In its more limited role as a day number, the 9 expresses itself primarily as the symbol of responsibility, motivated by idealism. As such, it assists us in realizing the purpose of our experiences with other people. This tends to imply a rather serious role in our affairs, but it's not intended that we be constantly serious, as are so many people with this day number. If such is the case, they should seek bright and happy company, leading to having fun, learning to have fun and laugh more to maintain that vital emotional balance, right? Why so serious? Some people tend to become overly ambitious under the influence of the day 9. But if this is not directed towards the common good, it can produce its own form of instability through dissatisfaction. People with this day number should be careful to avoid intense arguments, for their over seriousness tends to induce a fanaticism that borders on mental instability as they lose control of reason. Okay? Just so you know, keep it in mind. And if this is you, let us know in the comments. Is this true? Have you learned or do you see how all that's playing out? The intense arguments? Let us know. It's better that they learn to express any personal differences within the context of a discussion. Okay? That's the advice. Oops, I don't know what happened. Hit the wrong. I need to fix my mouse. It's bugging. I need to. But yes, better they learn to express any personal differences within the context of a discussion. Day number 10, people. That power of happy adaptability at the foundation of easygoing friendship is profuse with these people. They are gregarious, energetic, generous, and easily pleased, usually with an abundant number of acquaintances whose similar desires provide constant physical gratification. But they need to guard against a tendency towards superficiality, for this inhibits the development of worthwhile friendships and restricts their personal understanding of the real purpose of life. Right? Extravagance with their time, energy, and or money might make them the center of attention for a time, but such protracted wastefulness will inevitably result in emptiness. They should be prepared to use their talents to develop their primary purpose in life as revealed by their ruling number. Okay? What about day number 11? The high level of spirituality with which this number is identified usually finds its best expression through intuition as a day number. This is potentially a thoroughly reliable guide to the understanding of people and events, but only when free of high emotion. Unfortunately, a tendency of so many day number 11 people is to become involved in emotional extremes, such as are expressed in moodiness, anxiety, or abruptness, right? So get you some nervine herbs. You can get bulk quantities of nervine herbs at cedargroveherbs.com and get free shipping. So make sure, and we got a bunch of them: lemon balm, blue vervain, what else? Skull cap, St. John's wort, right? Lavender. So I think we might have some passion flower. Make sure to swing by there. This will help you with your anxiety, okay? Your moodiness. You know what I mean? It'll help your nervous system. So we have tools that we can use as long as we know what our energy makeup is. Knowing is half the battle though, right? Knowing is definitely a big step. So thank you for being here. Congratulations, right? That's a big step, learning and knowing the vibrations that you're dealing with. And then the next step would be to do what you can to balance it out, right? You want to live a high quality life. So wholeness and balance. So take herbs, nervine herbs, herbs for your nerves, for anxiety, stress, moodiness, for your nervous system. These are things to deal with your nervous system, right? So that's absolutely an option at your disposal. Go to cedargroveherbs.com. Right there on the first page, it shows you your nerve herbs, right? At the beginning of the page, it shows you your nerve herbs. And you can get free shipping. Just use code all caps Pro Healer, PROHEALER, Pro Healer, and you can get free shipping, right? Because you're going after healing professionally. Mhm. You know what you're doing here. These emotions are extremely unnerving and unhealthy, or enervating and unhealthy. I've never heard that word, enervating. Is it a typo? I'm gonna look it up. Trust you me. I'm gonna look it up right now. Hold on. What's enervating mean? It is a word, guys. Enervating describes something that gradually drains your physical, mental, or emotional energy, leaving you feeling weak, lethargic, and without vigor. Okay. All right. So these emotions are extremely draining and unhealthy, right? They should be controlled as soon as they're recognized, for they can be easily transformed to become positive spiritual guidance. And I'm telling you, getting herbs to help you with your anxiety, because a lot of us need healing for our nervous systems. We are living in a system, a society that is completely unhealthy. So, help yourself by getting herbs to help with your stress, with your nervous system. And these are definitely herbs that have been studied. They are known as nervine herbs, right? They're known to be vagal tone herbs to help with that vagal tone, your nervous system. So you can get some free shipping on that, only on the pound size of the herbs, though, right? We carry it in 2 ounces and 1 ounce, but for pound sizes, you can get free shipping on that. So this allows the day number 11's intuition to develop to its ultimate glory as through reliability, right? You got to know your intuition is reliable. So you got to learn to trust it, right? And trust the process. So day number 22 people slash 4, right? 22 slash 4. The potential power of this number is second to none, for it combines intuition with the practical, leading to the ready recognition that the achievement of anything is possible. But this will only become a reality if the person has achieved a comprehensive integration over the 3 planes: mind, soul, and physical. Hmm. Right? Okay. Otherwise, the use of this power can become lopsidedly motivated by the base desire to attain control for the sake of the power it brings. Such is the temptation for people of this day number. But such reliance can only lead to ultimate fragmentation, with resultant loss intended to convey the lesson that one's day number is essentially an alternate power and is never intended to be the primary seat of influence. Because I keep thinking in my mind as he's talking about the difference between the day number and the ruling number, I wanted to say lower vibration, right? But I really was comparing it to the south node, like I said. So it's kind of like where you've been. So it's kind of rocket fuel to power you into where you're going, the north node, astrologically speaking. So your day number is just kind of an alternate power, but it's powering you to go to where you're going. Where you're going and what you're utilizing to get where you're going is the ruling number, right? So I don't know. That's me visually. Does that help understand better? Here's a word of caution though. So dang, could we have gotten the word of caution first? Is a warning? Throughout this chapter on the day numbers, I've stressed the importance of recognizing them as aspects of our other side, our alternate self, as this is the supportive side of our individuality. For any number of reasons, people are sometimes induced to primary motivations by the power of their day number rather than that of their ruling number. And when this persists in their lives, it invites danger. Resultant problems usually arise from an emerging instability where the individual's material life becomes fragmented as they lose money and friends. Simultaneously, they become emotionally insecure and mentally unstable. Many such people are in dire need of appropriate counseling, some gravitating to institutions specializing in full time care. Yet rarely do private counselors or practitioners in such institutions realize the personality flip that has occurred as a result of the individual's inappropriate focus on how they express their individuality based on the temporary power of their day number. Wow. And remember, I was like, I'm a day number 19. I was born on the 19th of June. And so 9 and 1 is 10. So that would have been, this is, my day number is 10. Okay, so I need to be focused, like we said, all of us need to be focused on our ruling number. We don't want to live our lives primarily in our day number because we'll lose money and friends. First of all, that's where we've been. We're going somewhere else. You know what I mean? Higher vibrationally. Hmm. How does all that work? I don't know. But yeah, okay. So we'll keep that in mind. On to the rest of the word of caution. Treatment would be so much more effective, inexpensive, and quick if such professionals were also practitioners of numerology. For it is far more scientific and reliable than many of the arts that they currently use, such as psychological assessments. To understand how the patient has departed from the primary power of the ruling number is to be well on the way to effecting a lasting recovery. This is usually best achieved by teaching the patient to redevelop because they often identified with the qualities of their ruling number early in life. So they need to redevelop the essential aspects indicated by their ruling number and in turn teaching them the most appropriate ways to express themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. Okay? So focus on your ruling number, guys. That's the advice, right? Focus on your ruling number. Know your day number so that you can see what you're actually been focusing on. Have you actually been focusing on your day number energy? because you need to change the trajectory, right? Because again, it said for any number of reasons, people are sometimes induced to primary motivations by the power of their day number rather than that of their ruling number. And when this persists in their lives, it invites danger. Resultant problems usually arise from emerging instability, where the individual's material life becomes fragmented as they lose money and friends. Simultaneously, they become emotionally insecure and mentally unstable. So, are you dealing with these things? And when you look at your day number, have you noticed that? Are you seeing that you've actually been focusing on the day number energy rather than your ruling number energy? That's the caution. That's what we need to be looking for. And to just to sum it up, we need to be focusing our energy on our day number, our ruling number, not our day number, our ruling number, which I previously was just calling the life path number, right? Main life path number. Focus your energies on that. And you usually were focused on them earlier in life. Society has its own energy, right? It's guiding you and pushing you somewhere else due to the materialism and the capitalism, right? So, searching for money, sex, and power, right? But there's higher things to be learned, right? There's all kinds of ways that power manifests. So, have you considered that? There's all kind of ways to get money. Have you considered that? So, um, focusing on the ruling number is the way. That's what we learned here today. We'll be on page 101 when we return, and we'll be talking about the 9-year cycle of change. Wonder what that will be about. Wow. Okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here with me today. Yes. Thank you so much. Um, if you can, like the video, share it with as many people on your timeline as you can. We want to get that algorithm going. We want more and more people to start hearing and learning about this, right? The assignment is to raise your vibration. I hope you're working on it. I told you where you can get tools. You can get herbs, crystals, other metaphysical tools, all at cedargroveherbs.com. You can get other books and what have you. But if you want this book in particular, you go to cedargroveherbs.com and click on the CGH chat rooms, right? It'll be in the menu. If you pull it down, you'll find it, right? Um, and from there, find me in the Openly Occultic Book Club chat room. And there we can talk about this book, and you can get a free PDF of this book. Just show up and say, hey, can you send me the free PDF? And I'll email it to you. Okay? Hope you guys have a great weekend. Until next time, wholeness and balance.